anything a laborer does, and in return the employer pays him on hourly basis, weekly basis or fortnight basis. That is what is called wages. So when you understand the requirement of the job, usually we have two types of a job, that is skilled job, unskilled job. Now earlier used to happen what, that is whatever I'll work and I'll be paid that particular day itself, that is the cash basis. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students, and now we are in the session 1 of the Unit 1, which is called Wages and Salary Administration of HRM 3. Students, today we'll go with the introduction part of wages and salary. So what exactly is wage and salary? So if I tell you in a nutshell that wages are given to the laborers and salary is given to the employees, you will understand it. But let me tell you more about why wages is a word and a salary is another word which is totally different. Now when we understand the word wages, that means what, it is only given to the laborers and the salary is given to the employees. But when we understand both the situation here, what exactly we feel is wages are for people who work on the basis of hourly base, weekly base or monthly base or fortnight. But when it comes to the salary, that is the employees, they work actually weekly, monthly as well as annually. So you'll be shocked, sir, how can an employee be getting a salary for weekly basis? There are so many jobs which only requires the employees for weekly basis, and there are few jobs of government sector where they are already paid annual scheme also. So let's see what exactly it is. So when we go with the meaning of wage and salary administration here, understand what exactly it is. Wage and salary administration is defined as the process. It is what? It's a process. And what type of a process it is? It is a continuous process where wage and salary levels and structures are determined in the organization setting. That is, who should get what, how much a person should be getting. Now these are the administration which is done by the human resource manager, who sets a totally a different department where the department will only calculate what is the hourly based work done by an employee or a laborer. That is what they'll calculate, and then they'll fix a wage or the salary, and that is what the wage and salary administration does. Say example, when we go with F.W. Taylor. Now, F.W. Taylor is the father of scientific management, and he has given a very good contribution to the system of wage and administration, saying that any laborer, if you need to set his wages, you are supposed to see how much he works. That is called piece wage rate system. Now, when we go with the wage rate system, you need to understand wage rate system. Now, when we go with this concept of wage rate system, students, the employer, now he'll see that what are the things the laborer has done. According to that, he will start giving him the remuneration or the wages. Now, the same is applicable even to the employees. That is, how much the employee is working efficiently or not, he will check, and then only he'll pay them the salary. Say, supposingly, the employer is giving too much salary or too much money to a person who is inefficient, then what happens to the people who are efficient? Now, they'll definitely have the lack of morality and they'll not work the way they are supposed to work. That's why we should have a separate wing for wage and salary administration. Next, if we go with it, wages are payments. Wages are what? Wages are payment for labor services rendered frequency expressed in hourly rates, while salary is similar payment which is expressed weekly, monthly, annual rates. That is what the difference between wages and salary. So the third, when we understand here what happens is, the term wage is what happens here is it connotes the payments in terms of number of hours worked and may fluctuate depending upon hours actually worked. Now you need to understand, whenever we go with the setting of wages or salary, what they usually do is they go with a standard and actual. When we denote the standard and actual, what really happens is standard rates or standard wages, standard salary is set by the company. So standard is always set by the company. But actually what the employee does, what the laborer does, it depends on what they perform. And when they perform, what happens is there are few laborers who are skilled and there are few who are unskilled. Now, when you set the wages for the laborers, what you people do is you actually see whether that laborer is a skilled laborer or unskilled laborer. So what happens is for unskilled laborer, now the standard which you have set, you will actually reduce it, because now you know that the person is not skilled, is yet to be skilled, so you'll pay less to that person. And the person who is already skilled, you'll pay more to him because you'll be getting more work done from that person. So next is definition. Now as per ILO, that is International Labour Organization, wages refer to the payment which is made by the employer to the laborer. So who will pay? The employer will pay to the laborer for his services, which is hired on the condition of payment per hour, per day, per week or per fortnight. So this is what the ILO says. Now I've given you few of the definitions by Joyd, Benham, Yoder and Henman. Now if you people need to understand more about wages and salary administration, please do watch all the sessions which we're gonna give you for free. So here when we go with Joyd, Benham and Yoder, we feel that the same kind of an explanation is given, that is the wages are defined as like this: anything a laborer does and in return the employer pays him on hourly basis, weekly basis or fortnight basis, that is what is called wages. And wages is totally different from salary. Salary is always fixed for an employee. Laborers, what happens is someday they'll work more, someday they'll work less. So on the basis of base wage rate system, he or she will be given their wages. So nature of wage and salary administration. What are the nature? Why we need salary and wage administration? If we understand in a nutshell, the first one is the basic purpose of wage salary administration. See, wage and salary administration, right, is to establish and maintain an equitable wage and salary structure. That is, they should always have an equitable structure. Many of the companies, if we understand their nature and the way they go with their wages and salary administration, you will get to know that within an year they'll not change their salary structure. They always see to it that whoever are performing better, their salary is more, and whoever are not performing better, their salary is less. So why they do it is only to boost the people who are efficient and to give a wake-up call to the people who are not efficient at all. It is concerned with the establishment and maintenance of equitable labor cost structure, that is an optimal balancing of conflicting personal interests. Now we have this word personnel. Now in HRM, you have seen HRM 1 and 2 that personnel means staff. Now what is the meaning of personnel? Personnel means staff. Now, understand this carefully here, students. That is, so that the satisfaction of the employees and the employer is maximized and conflicts are minimized. So, whenever the employer increases anybody's salary, what happens is the other people will always have that conflict, saying that why did he increase that person's salary? Is there any favorism? Is there any partiality? Is there any communal angle is there? So, what happens is to eradicate all these conflicts, to minimize these kind of a conflicts between the employer and the employee, the employer has made a mandatory department saying that should be a wage and salary administration. That's the reason we have, so that there will be equitable labor cost structures in all the laborers as well as in the employee's salary. So the wage and salary administration is concerned with the financial aspects. They're concerned with the financial aspect of needs, the same way motivation and rewards. So whenever the people whoever are getting more salary, and then if they stop working, what happens is, again, these are the people who should go and they should motivate the employee. In the meantime, if the salary is not increased to the few of the employees, though they are efficient, they are supposed to get rewards. So these are the things which is very mandatory. Next is, employees should be paid according to the requirements of their job. So when you understand the requirement of the job, usually we have two types of a job, that is skilled job, unskilled job. Now when a person is working in a job where skills are more used, now that person should be paid more. And person who ever is working for the jobs which are not required the skills, there is unskilled laborers are there, or the employees are there, then those people should get less compensations or less salary. So when this is what the slab which you have put, now what happens is, the employee whoever works on a skill job, now that person will be paid more. That person will be paid more compensation. And a person who works for unskilled jobs, now that person should get less salary or less compensation. Next, to minimize the chances of favoritism. Now that is the reason we should have wage and salary administration. Say example, I'm an employer and my own friend who was studying with me in 9th standard or 10th standard, or a very good friend of mine, now he joins my company. Now on the basis of my relationship with him, now I'm paying him more. Now that should never happen in any organization. That's the reason we should always have wage and salary administration. Next one is to establish the job sequences. Now understand the word here. You need to establish the job sequence and lines of production whenever they are applicable. So here when it happens, that is a sequence of the job should be maintained and you should not interrupt it anytime. Now to increase the employees' morale and motivation, because a wage program can be explained and is based upon fact. So whenever you start explaining the programs of employees, that is the salary is set or the wages is set, now what happens, the employees will always have a transparency and they'll get to know that on what basis they are being given the salary and what basis they are getting their wages also. So they'll have a morale, that is the morale will be very much increased, and they'll have a faith on the employer saying that if I work more, then definitely my employer will see to it and they'll give me more salary or more wages. Next is characteristics of wage and salary administration. What are the characteristics? The first one here is payment of wage is in accordance with the terms of contract between the employer and the worker. So the first character, that is on the basis of the way you people have contracted, the way you people have come to an agreement and then you have made it as a contract, that is what the first character is. The second is the wages are determined on the basis of time rate system or piece rate system. See, piece rate system is given by F.W. Taylor. Earlier, what used to happen is, say an example, if I work from 9 o'clock, that is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, what happens is, I'll be working from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is what I have decided and my employer has said yes for it. Now, we call this as time rate system, that is according to the time. But here what happens is, many of the people have misused and they will not go with productivity from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They'll be in the organization, but they'll not work to the maximum. The second principle is here, that is piece rate system, that is from 9 to 4, how much you have worked, what exactly you have done. If I go with that, that is called the efficiency here will be increased. That is on the basis of what I perform, I'll be paid. That is called piece rate wage system. And this is given by a person called F.W. Taylor. Now I have already explained about F.W. Taylor. F.W. Taylor is the father of scientific management. Now next is wage change with the change in the time spent by the laborers. And wages create utility. Wages create what? Utility. Next one is wages may be paid weekly, fortnightly, hourly or monthly basis. Wage is reward paid to the workers for the services rendered by them. And lastly, wages can be paid in cash or in kind. Now earlier used to happen what? That is whatever I'll work and I'll be paid that particular day itself. That is the cash basis. Now what happens is money or money's worth. That is also a kind. All kind of allowance are included in wages. So these are the characteristics of wages. Next one is objectives of wages. Now what are the objectives here? To compare or draft company HR policies, we only go with wage and salary administration. Next is to find out the income level and return ratio of similar industries. That is the reason we actually go with wage and salary administration. To understand wage differentiations. Now, whenever there is any differentiation about it, if we check the wage and salary administration, we'll get to know what are the differentiation. That is what the objective of setting a wage and salary administration in the organization or the industries. To examine the competitiveness of entire level employees. Now, when we go with the employees, what happens is there are n number of employees. Say, I'll give you an example of Infosys. Now, when you go with Infosys, the way the MNC company is being operated in India and abroad, what happens is they have the proper wage and salary administration system which says that what the employee is getting and why the employee is getting that much. So that is where you will examine the competitiveness. And say example, if A, B, C are there. Now, if we go with the scalar chain here, totally if you understand this, now there is a person A. Now his subordinate is B and B subordinate is C. Now because of the wage and salary administration, now A will be getting more salary than B and C, correct? But when it comes to the competition, what happens? If B is proved to be a very nice person and he has showed his talent as well as he has taken many initiation and then he has performed well, now what happens is definitely he'll surpass A and he'll be here somewhere B. Now this is the next one. Now what happens is certainly his salary should be more. Why? On the basis of that is to examine the competitiveness of entire level employees. Now to establish hiring rates favorable to the community. So even that is what the objective of wage and salary administration. The next I have given you 5 of the objectives of wages and salary administration. Next one is to keep abreast wage and salary rates with production cost. You should always check the production cost and then determine it. To minimize labor turnover. See here, when you go with a proper wage and salary administration, you will definitely minimize the labor turnover due to pay disparity. Now, there is no disparity when it comes to the payment. So, what really happens here is, because of this disparity, what happens is many of the employees, they don't like to move from this company because many of the other companies, there is always disparity when it comes to the payroll. To increase employee satisfaction and morale. So why wages and administration block is given in the MNC company and other industries? Only for this particular 2 things. That is, one is there is no disparity. Next is satisfaction and morale is more. And next is to learn about the trend of perks and benefits in the market. So what is happening in the market? What are the benefits in the organization? We'll get to know in the wage and salary administration. And lastly, to resolve existing labor problem concerning compensation. In India, we always have the problems with the laborers and the employees, and we have seen so many of the cases where employer are not happy with the laborer and laborers are not happy with the employers. So what happens is, being a HR manager, we are supposed to always be like a bridge between the employer and the laborer, and we should always do justice to our laborers, because the laborers are paid less and the employers are benefiting more. So being a HR manager, what is that you people should do is, you should have a separate wing called wages and salary administration, and you should check and you should maintain all the records, and properly you are supposed to scrutinize whether the laborers are playing with you or the employer are playing with you. And that is what the power the HR manager has. So any doubts regarding this session, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. In the next session, I'll be taking more on the wages and administration. Till then, thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.